Pacific Northwest Indians: Rory, Justin, Veda, Jasmine, Oliver, Ethan, Daniel, and Ty.
Table of Contents. Page 3 is Introduction. Page 4 is Homes and Shelters. Page 5 is Clothing and Dress. Page 6 is Food and Utensils. Page 7 is Tools and Weapons. Page 8 is Customs, Traditions, and Entertainment. Page 9 is Art and Music. And page 10 is Religion.
This is the introduction by Ethan Lim. Pacific Northwest Indians. The Pacific Northwest Indian tribe existed in parts of Idaho, Northern California, Southern Alaska, and parts of Montana. The climate was warm. This is about the Pacific Northwest Indians. You will be learning about the Pacific Northwest Indians, where the Pacific Northwest Indians lived, what they do. You will also learn about their homes, clothing, food, tools, traditions, and resources and regions.
Homes and shelters. The Pacific Northwest Indians lived in large wooden longhouses made from planks of cedar wood. The longhouses could be 200 feet long, 20 feet wide, and 20 feet high. They had a small hole in the roof to let smoke and fresh air out. The longhouses could have raised platforms to create a sleeping loft. There could be mats and wood screens to divide the longhouse into separate rooms. Some longhouses even housed an entire clan.
Clothing and Dress by Daniel Kim. The man on the left here is obviously important, stating the headdress and the amount of necklaces he has. You can also tell by the big headdress. Note the age. The woman on the right is wearing a standard Pacific Northwest outfit. Note the shawl made out of deerskin and the woven cap. The Pacific tribes used things like deerskin and tree bark for clothing. They were often thick and fluffy. The clothing was fluffy and warm. It usually had thousands of strips of tree bark tied around the neck. Then a cloak made out of deerskin gets wrapped around them like a coat.
Food and Utensils by Jasmine A. The Indians ate fish, whale, sea lion, and other animals. Sorry about that. The Indians ate fish, whale, sea lion, sea otter, and seal. They also ate deer, moose, and berries. The Indians used giant boat-like canoes that can hold 20 Indian warriors and 10,000 pounds of fish. Men did all the hunting and fishing. The women collected berries. The tribes never ran out of food because of the wonderful weather and the source of water.
Tools and Weapons by Rory. They used spears, nets, weirs, and traps to hunt fish and most animals. They used planks, cedar wood to build most of their houses and boats. Most of the women wove baskets to store food and collect berries. They were very good at crafting tools to hunt and gather.
Ceremonies, Pottering, and Hunting by Ty. Ceremonies: Waukeshan chiefs held large ceremonies. Pottery: the Pacific Northwest tribe made beautiful pottery. Hunting: the Pacific Northwest tribe hunted otter, salmon, and whales.
Art and Traditions by Oliver. They handmade jewelry and mastering their customs and traditions. The potlatch was usually the most common tradition during winter. They were great artists and made many different creations. Totem poles are often created for symbols. Religion by Veda K. Many Indians were very good handcrafted artists. Totem poles were what they were known for. The totem poles were put up in front of houses to tell a family's tribal story about their history. Necklaces were worn for symbolizing wealth. The different kind of necklaces were clamshells, beaver teeth, and bear claw necklaces, each of them very popular. In winter months, the potlatch was one of the most common traditions. It was a feast that would show off wealth to the other villagers. Dancing, eating, storytelling, and gift-giving were all part of the ceremonies. These are the search resources.